You want to do it again?
Vroom! Race car noises.
Great. Really good.
Yeah. Your poor ears, I'm sure.
My ears! Anyways.
Am I ugly? Not at all, boy. My ears! My ears!
That doesn't translate. First of all, my eyes is from the movie, not from the ugly episode.
Oh, fair.
Second of all, welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody!
Welcome to Under the Bridge.
I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll, pronouns he, him.
And I am Greg, aka Greg, also pronouns he, him.
And this is our podcast where we talk news of the pop culture variety, and also SpongeBob quotes, apparently. Sometimes it's comic news, sometimes it's gaming news, pretty much always movie news, and there's also pretty much always a movie review, so make sure to ring the like button, smash that bell, and share the video around if you're into that sort of thing, because it helps us out and we appreciate it.
And no matter what you come to this show for, the one thing you can count on is always unsolicited degeneracy.
Oh, without a doubt. That's just, that's part and parcel.
Yes.
I don't know which news I should start on.
I was gonna say, are we gonna segue off of, speaking of unsolicited degeneracy?
You know what, this one's kind of video game related in that it's a video game movie. You will not believe who the latest person to join the cast of the upcoming Street Fighter reboot is.
Oh boy. Are you telling me to guess?
You can.
Let's see.
You'll never get it.
Alright.
Unless you check the notes because I put them in there and you might have already seen it.
Alright, let's see. Somebody ridiculous. I don't know. Ludicrous?
Huh, you're closer than I would have expected.
Oh, no kidding. I just picked Ludacris because the thought of Ludacris in a Street Fighter movie is personally very funny to me.
You might say it's ludicrous.
Yeah, it's ludicrous indeed. Ludicrous for Street Fighter DLC.
But it's not him. It's not him. He's not in the Street Fighter movie. But you're in the right field.
Am I now?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I can't think of any rap. I mean, the only person I would like to be more in a Street Fighter movie, just because I think it'd be funny to see them fight somebody, is Kendrick Lamar.
Well, it's not him.
Yeah, okay, so who is it?
It is none other than Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
I beg your fucking pardon. I don't care that we're not 5 minutes into this show.
Neither do I, really. He's playing Balrog.
What?
Yeah.
He's playing Balrog.
Balrog.
Okay. Sure.
Sources say he's deep into training and will be doing his own stunts.
Alright, this I've gotta see.
Look, I got let down real hard by the latest Mortal Kombat movie, and remembering that the sequel is coming out fills me with dread, but for this, I might have to.
Right.
And then also, I wanted to include this because looking at this article just reminded me of the people who are already attached to this movie. Like, Jason Momoa is Blanca.
What? Jason Momoa's in this?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Noah Centineo is Ken. Roman Reign is Akuma.
Okay.
And Kalina Liang is playing Chun-Li. She was in The Presence, which I'm realizing you didn't see, but she was pretty good in that.
Oh, yeah, I did not see that.
So, it's just... But wow, 50 Cent as Balrog.
You know what, looking at Blanca's character design, I can see Jason Momoa as Blanca.
But will he do the WOO?!
That's a good question. That is a very good question indeed.
As if he's hamming it up like he did in Fast 10, more power to him, I say.
Oh, please. Please, please, please. Just more of that shit.
At least it sounds like they're not introducing a brand new character, which was the main problem I had with the Mortal Kombat movie, that they made an original character to be the main character whose stand is literal plot armor and still gets his ass handed to him in almost every fight.
Nice.
Real disappointing.
I
forget if this has a release date. Does this have a release date?
Probably not.
Hold on a second. I'm not seeing one. The article doesn't mention it, so I guess not?
I'd say it's probably in pre-production.
I mean, he is training for it, so that would make sense.
Right.
God, a jacked 50 Cent. Like, movie jacked 50 Cent.
I could have sworn there was some news that was circulating when we were in high school, because I think if I remember right, at the time 50 Cent was like jumping between a few different movies, and he was getting a lot of notoriety for that just because of how much he was training and then not training his body. He would gain a bunch of weight, then lose a bunch of weight, then gain a bunch of weight again for different roles. And it was something where basically everyone was going like, that's not healthy.
Yeah, no, that's... Now I have to check. No release date to be announced, so...
Didn't we get a Street Fighter movie, like, within the last 5 years, or am I getting that mixed up with the Mortal Kombat
You're
movie?
thinking of Mortal Kombat, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, thinking of Jason Momoa,
Oh boy.
I got some bad news.
How bad are we talking?
Well, Vin Diesel was talking about the upcoming final Fast and Furious film.
Final Fantasy.
Too fast, too final.
Why am I laughing at that? That was fucking horrible for me.
It was pretty bad.
I don't like what that says about myself, and I feel the need to laugh at that. Oh my god.
So, apparently it's coming in April 2027.
Mm-hmm.
And,
wow. Wait, hold up. Wow. Holy shit. That's a long time.
Yeah, that's almost
releases.
2 years.
Yeah.
Criminy.
It'll be 3 years between the movies then.
Was that last year?
I think it was last year.
I thought that was the year before. Hold on a second. No, Fast 10 was 2023. It'll have been 4 years.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
So, Vin Diesel's exact quote was, "Just yesterday I was with Universal Studios. The studio said to
I
me,
like how you're doing the voice too.
Thank you. Vin, can we please have the finale of Fast and Furious April 2027? I said, under 3 conditions because I've been listening to my fan base. Oh no." Oh no. For the fan base, he says.
That's not encouraging.
So the 3 conditions. The first is to bring the franchise back to LA.
Sure.
The second thing was to return to the car culture, to the street racing. Little late for that!
Yeah, just a little bit. You don't get to do take backsies on that shit.
You basically work for, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point.
Yeah.
Dom! What the fuck?
What the fuck? Are we gonna break into someone's garage and find out that they have, like, spoon engines for the race wars next month?
Oh, the race wars.
Oh my god.
He almost got combat! He almost got combat!
Oh no.
But here's the real depressing bit.
Oh man, I have to look at that original movie in different light again. What's this an invite to? It's to Race Wars.
2 tickets for Race Wars, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyways, time to really pull the rug out from under you. The third thing was reuniting Dom and Brian O'Connor. That's what you're gonna get in the finale.
No. Are they gonna fucking AI Paul Walker?
They better fucking not!
Are they gonna, like, AI Paul Walker over his brothers again?
I mean, okay. As long as they're using pre-existing tech that already... Because the technology for that exists. You can do that. That's not inherently, like...
Gross.
Well, it's kind of gross, but you know what I mean.
But not as gross as just full-on AIing Paul Walker back.
Yeah. Because I know for Fast 7, they used his brothers to help finish the scenes where he wasn't there for tragic reasons.
Yeah, they did. That was something that they were very, very open about after he died in that car accident.
So something similar to that, if they could pull it off, yeah, sure. But if they just, like, whole cloth insert him in with AI, no.
Yeah, no thank you.
No. This sounds deranged. Are we gonna time travel?
Don't give them ideas. We already sent a Pontiac Fiero into space. Don't. Please don't. Oh, I can see that. Oh, I hurt. Oh, how could you?
I know I made the joke Fast to the Future before, right? That feels like something I have to have thought of.
I promise you they would find some way to do that. Like, they would get a DeLorean and everything.
when this gets up to 88 miles an hour, we're still moving half as fast as everybody else.
We still have 10 gear shifts in this 5-speed car. Actually, no, I think the DMC-12 was a 4-speed, so...
Huh.
Yeah.
What do you think? We get John Cena back? He's still alive?
I think he's still alive. I don't think they killed him off like that.
Yeah, I mean, Gal Gadot's back, so...
Yeah! Oh my god. Why you just... Oh, I forgot about that, too. I genuinely forgot that she came back at the end in a fucking submarine. And
Han's
the movie
alive.
Transformers is like, Han's alive, The Rock is back. And the most amazing thing about Fast 10 in regards to The Rock is that you can tell that they weren't planning on The Rock being back just because they edited the first bit of the movie to not have The Rock show up in it, even though it's clearly him driving the armored truck. And then at the very end, it's the whole thing where he's like, well, then you can come for me, you some bitch.
Well, it ain't exactly hard to find, you some bitch.
Yeah.
You know they shot that after Black Adam bombed, and he was like, can I come back?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh, that's just great.
How long do you think the movie's gonna be? I think it's gonna be like 3 hours.
3-hour Fast and Furious movie is more than I can fucking take, I think.
Mm.
But you're probably right.
Yeah, with how much crap they're trying to pile into it, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a 3-hour film.
Come to think of it, did Black Adam bomb, or did it just not break even? There is a difference.
Yeah.
I guess it got close. Maybe. Not if the budget was...
even.
Not if the budget was $260 million. Because it made under $400.
Oh, fair.
Eh.
Like, is it one of those ones where it has, like, a ballpark and there was never an official budget given?
There's a range. There's a bunch of different numbers.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess we got 2 years to dread this one.
2 years.
3 days!
Oh, 3 days! Jesus Christ.
Insanity.
Indeed.
So, we may not know who's playing the next James Bond, but we know who's directing his next movie.
Okay.
And it's Denis Villeneuve.
Any relation to Jacques Villeneuve?
Maybe? I don't know who that is.
Former Formula One driver. Also topical on that aspect, considering...
I don't think so. I think it might just be the same last name.
Are they Canadian?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's funny then, because Jacques Villeneuve is also Canadian.
I mean, maybe it's just...
Wait, no, yeah, Denis Villeneuve is a very distant relative of Jacques Villeneuve.
Oh, neat.
That's funny.
Wow, that is nuts.
Yeah, indeed.
No, so he directed Blade Runner 2049, which I still haven't seen, Arrival, which was one of my favorite movies I saw that year, and also the Dune movies, of which, I mean, I like the second one.
I haven't seen either of them.
It's interesting because he's a very... I describe him as atmospheric.
Okay.
His style is kind of slower, more building to stuff kind of thing, if that makes sense. Him with a James Bond movie is very interesting to me. I do not know how that's gonna go.
Like a slow, broad, atmospheric James Bond movie kind of sounds the opposite of James Bond, in all honesty.
I mean, No Time to Die had action scenes, but it was also slower and introspective, although part of that's because Daniel Craig's was getting up there, and then they dropped a Tomahawk missile on him.
That's still one of my favorite movie theater moments between the two of us. Just me going, it's like, he's dead, and you're like, oh no, they could still find a way of saving him at the last minute. Literally drops this Tomahawk cruise missile on the side. Oh no, he's fucking dead.
Yeah, never mind.
Everyone else in the theater is kind of taking it seriously, and we're just like, oh yeah, no, he's dead. He ain't gonna get up from that, Jim. Oh god.
Yeah. Oh boy. So he said, some of my earliest movie-going memories are connected to 007. I grew up watching James Bond films with my father ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery. I'm a die-hard Bond fan. To me, he's sacred territory. I intend to honor the tradition and open the path for many new missions to come. This is a massive responsibility, but also incredibly exciting for me, and a huge honor.
Ask him, it's like, so did you actually sit through and get all the way through Casino Royale? And he's just gritting his teeth. Yeah, of course I did.
Because I didn't.
Yeah, because I didn't either. I have tried watching that movie so many times, and I've never been able to finish it.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Amy Pascal's a producer on this.
I know the name.
She's one of the people who routinely fucks up Spider-Man. She's the one where, when they tried making a deal with Marvel and Kevin Feige said, look, why don't we do a thing where you guys still distribute the movie and, obviously, you get the money for it, but we'll make it because the only way I know how to do this is to just make the movie. And she threw a sandwich at his head and screamed at him to get out.
She threw a sandwich at his head?
Yes, that is on official record.
That's just toxic.
I know, right? All this because he said, I'm not going to help you save the Amazing Spider-Man movies, why don't you just let me make one?
I thought you were getting ready to say that she's the reason why Paul exists in the comics.
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't put that evil on her. There's plenty of other evil to put on her.
Right. I wonder what kind of sandwich it was.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, it depends. Don't get me wrong, that's a toxic thing to do altogether, like, no matter what, but the level of toxicity that it can be increased to, there is a toxicity multiplier based on what kind of sandwich it is. If it's just a basic bitch ham or turkey or like a veggie sandwich, it's like, alright, we're not gonna have a high multiplier here.
Was there a vinaigrette on the salad?
Yeah, if there was a vinaigrette on the salad, it's like, all right, we got a little bit more to work with. If it's like an Italian, like a good Italian, you're like, oh, you can go actually fuck yourself.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, did she throw something that was gonna, like, make more of a mess and splatter his clothes, but you're more concerned about the quality of the sandwich that was wasted. Okay.
I mean, I think there's a bonus score index for anything that would make a mess. There's the general multiplier for the quality of the sandwich, and then a score index if there's, like, vinaigrette or mustard or whatever else on it. It's like one of the crash junctions in Burnout 3 at that point.
I'm still mad about that one time.
that was great.
Hit just the like, score reverse.
I'm pretty sure you picked up the power-up that switches score, and you're like, no, it's fine, and then the game switches score, and you're like, son of a bitch!
Why is that a thing?
To torment your friends.
It worked.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. This next was just a very minor bit of news, and it might surprise you that I'm excited for this. But apparently they're making a new adaptation of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility.
Oh my god.
What?
No, I know why you're excited about it. It's just one of those things where I'm internally going, alright, now that Cody's gotten really deep into this Jane Austen cinematic universe, it just keeps on pumping shit out. It's kind of like how I got into Somnium Files.
It's not a cinematic universe, it's just a collection of works by one author. Alright? Yes, I just recently watched the Pride and Prejudice movie from, I want to say, the mid-2000s. When did that one come out? The one where Agent Paradox is Lord Darcy and Keira Knightley is, I forget her name, but she was good in it.
Right.
Pride and Prejudice, film adaptation. This is important right now. I have to know what year this movie came out. I'm sorry, what did that say? Okay. Apparently, Marvel published, like, a limited series comic reproduction of it.
Did they now?
I'm like, is Spider-Man in it?
Is this where we find out that Jane Austen's a member of the Secret Avengers?
Jesus Christ. Yep, no, it's as mid-2000s as it gets, literally, because it's 2005.
Okay.
So probably because I watched that not that long ago, this is fresh in my mind. I've never actually seen the Sense and Sensibility adaptation that I think Alan Rickman was in that one.
Okay.
Now I gotta look this up.
Was
that 1995? Are you kidding me?
Nice.
Oh my god, yeah, that was 1995. That's 30 years ago!
Nice.
Oh god. No, I've never seen that one, but I've been meaning to, because I like Alan Rickman, and also because apparently I like Jane Austen adaptations. Anyways, the other bit of the story here is that Daisy Edgar-Jones is going to be starring as one of the Dashwood sisters. She was in Twister. She was Kate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the one who had to watch all of her friends die, and then get roped into storm chasing again by Anthony Ramos and Superman.
Not. Glenn Powell was supposed to be Superman.
No, I'm not talking about Glenn Powell. I'm talking about Javi's assistant, the the really stern guy who they chew out at the end of the movie, that's David Cornsweet. That's Superman.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
Right?
Oh, I never would have guessed. Ugh, alright.
Well, this is giving me the perfect excuse to sit down and watch Sense and Sensibility, so maybe I'll add that to the movie night list. And then our final bit of news. I hope you're all proud of yourselves, myself included, because now we have to deal with a sequel to live-action Lilo and Stitch.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, not as disappointing as me realizing that this movie has made over $923 million worldwide.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I can only get so mad because I saw it and I said it was alright. I encouraged this shit.
Well, we both said it was alright.
Yeah, but I've had a think. I've reevaluated my tier list a little bit. I've realized I've been going a little easy on not everything, but some things, and I've decided I've moved this one down. I already decided to do this before I found out about the sequel. It's just because I thought about it, and I was like, am I ever gonna rewatch this? No. Because you know what? If I want to rewatch Lilo and Stitch, I'll rewatch the fucking original, because there's nothing that this does better. Almost everything about it is the same or worse. And don't get me wrong, I still don't hate it. I hate this. I hate this phenomenon.
Right.
But now it's in one of the most movies of all time, strictly because I will probably never have an excuse to rewatch this film.
Yeah, valid.
We live in a society.
We live in a society!
Thanks, Joker.
Something, because you get what you fucking deserve, or whatever, I don't know.
Let's go to trailer time.
Let's do trailer time.
It's trailer time again! Alright, so, I'm experimenting with cutting back a little bit on trailer time, because deciding not to watch the last Weapons trailer made me realize, there's something to be said for this is taking some of the fun out of it. So we'll see how this evolves in the coming weeks. For now, there's a couple of things we want to talk about, one of which is we got the final trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps. The main things that jump out to me about this are, A, Reed Richards stretching still looks weird, but it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it's straddling the line.
But I mean, there's no way to not make that look weird. Weird is the point.
Yeah.
It's unnatural. A human being ain't meant to bend like that.
Yeah.
So, that's good. The Thing has a rock beard at one point. Don't like that.
That was fucking weird. And someone is gonna be like, but this movie's weird, it's full of weird characters. Yeah, but there's still limits.
But I think my favorite part is the fact that he does not want to say it's clobbering time. Apparently that's a catchphrase they added for him in a cartoon.
Yeah, and I'm kind of siding it with him a little bit, where he's, I don't want to, it's stupid. I'm like, it is a little bit stupid.
What time has it been? No, Johnny. What time is it? No. Say it, I don't wanna. What time is it? It's dinner time. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, indeed.
Johnny just keeps trying to bait him into it.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, he's gonna... Alright, no, you thought you were slick there.
No, that looks good. That looks good. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
I'm even more excited to base a Cinema Synergy episode around it that will hopefully actually come out. Yes,
indeedy.
Maybe, who knows, maybe the other one will go up as like a lost episode a year later. I've been working on this since 2025!
Just like a particular other project that's been on the work since 2024.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting close. I'm in October.
I was gonna say, did you forget about that?
I didn't forget. I just forgot that you knew.
Oh my god.
I don't know how, but I did. Oh, man. Okay, the other one. We also got a trailer for Project Hail Mary, starring Ryan Gosling.
I put the nod in astronaut.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty fucking good.
I mean, I'm glad it's from the guys who made Into the Spider-Verse, because otherwise I would be like, this is a really contrived, weird setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how I feel about it, but knowing that it's them gives me some degree of hope.
Yeah. Apparently it's based on like a best-selling novel or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Next time on Cinema Synergy, a book!
Next time on Cinema Synergy, a book report!
Our podcast is now a book club. Okay, the main problem I have with this trailer is the very end gives away too much. I didn't need to know.
So it's funny that, because other people are saying that gives away too much, and I've been seeing from people who have, like, I guess read the books or whatever and all that, and are like, no, trust us, that whole thing really does not give away an awful lot about this.
Oh. Well, that's actually
Yeah.
promising then. I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to see it. Honestly, the main thing that has my interest is the fact that Ryan Gosling is in it. But it does kind of, like, enter the category of weird where it takes me out a little bit, if that makes sense.
No, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time for the box office.
Let's do the box office.
I'm disappointed to say we did see the highest grossing movie domestically this weekend.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was in fact F1.
Really?
Yeah, I bet you thought it was going to be something else, something we'd seen previously. Nope, it is F1.
Yeah, I figured it would be, I don't know, something else, not F1.
Well, it was $57 million domestic weekend and total, $146.3 million worldwide. The budget, it's a range. It's either 200 mil,
of course it is.
Or it's 300 mil.
I would hope it's 200 mil, honestly.
I'm kinda hoping it's 300, honestly.
Oh, what, just so that there's less... Well, I don't think they'll make another one of these. I can't see how you make a sequel off of this movie.
It's not about I don't want another one of these, it's I don't want anything like this. We'll get to it.
This is like if they do make a sequel. What is it called? Formula 2. Wait, that doesn't work.
F1 2.0.
Oh, no. Don't say that.
Speaking of, I also saw Megan 2.0. That took 4th place. $10.2 million domestically this weekend and in total. $17 million worldwide. Its budget could be upwards of 25 mil. So...
Okay. Alright, I'm going to say, I kind of want you to talk about Megan first.
Good, because I wanted to talk about Megan first. I think we need to close out on F1. So...
Yeah.
In the aftermath of Megan Mathregan, her creator Gemma has gone on to become an anti-AI advocate. She is very much about...
So she's not in a jail cell.
I think she spent some time in a jail cell. I think that was a
some time in a jail cell.
I don't remember. If she did, it was a throwaway line, but...
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, instead she's a big anti-AI advocate now. She is very heavily pushing for legislation that regulates technology and also responsible parenting. She is now severely limiting of screen time, and despite the fact that Katie clearly wants to go into robotics, Gemma is very heavily against it. Okay, you know what? One thing I will say that's great about this movie, I like the fact that Gemma's still fucking awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this sounds like she's still awful, just the sides have flipped.
Yeah, no. The only thing she learned last time was don't outsource your adoptive parenting needs to your Google Home. That's it.
Right.
So now she's just the same kind of terrible person, just tacking on in a different direction. I actually kind of respect it.
You respect the stubbornness.
Partly because the movie does not shy away from having people call her out on her bullshit.
Good. Man, if I didn't have to work Saturday, I did actually really want to see the movie, by the way.
I recommend it. This is, I'll tell you right off the bat, this goes in, it's stupid and terrible, but I'm about it, but I actually kind of thought about putting it in a very good movie.
Is it one of those things where you really, really, really like it, but objectively, it's not a good movie?
It's not that I really, really like it, actually. It's more that I respect kind of some of the things that it's going for. Like the fact that it's not afraid to go, yeah, we had a terrible protagonist, and guess what? She hasn't gotten much better.
We're gonna double down on how awful she is.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. There's an actually pretty fair point about technology underneath it all. It's very clumsy because, well, I mean, these aren't exactly Hitchcock movies, you know?
Right.
This is not Kubrick.
This is not high art.
To get more contemporary, it's not Jordan Peele, you know?
Right.
But, I don't know, this is a fun time. It's definitely not a horror movie.
Oh yeah, everything in the trailers and all show that it's definitely getting away from the horror aspect compared to, like, the first film.
but I feel like it actually works for the most part, or at the very least, it doesn't not work.
Right.
Because I feel like trying to do the first Megan over again would have been a mistake.
You respect the attempt to just, like, double down on the nuttiness.
Yeah, I respect giving the genre a little flip. It's shifting into something that's still sci-fi, but it's definitely an action movie rather than a horror film in this case. So you know what? Yeah, okay, cool, that's alright. Katie is still exactly the same performance-wise, which is kind of a problem.
Okay.
Because in the first movie, I kind of took the performance as she's just perpetually, trauma-shocked because of her parents dying and her aunt using her as a guinea pig for this fucking deranged parenting toy. But she still acts basically like she did in that movie, if anything, with a little less emotion, because there's no real sad breakdown moment like the one that prompts Megan to sing to her.
Oh boy.
So, that's a little disappointing. Oh wow, she was young Yelena in the flashback scenes in Thunderbolts. Huh.
Oh, I was thinking it's like, wait. Because I remember seeing Thunderbolts and seeing the little girl, I'm just like, why do you look familiar?
That's why. That's why.
Okay.
Also, I owe Ivana Sokhno an apology, and not just because I probably mispronounced the hell out of that name, but also because she plays Amelia, and when I saw her in the trailers, I thought she was Elizabeth Olsen. You can see my confusion.
No, I can see it. I can 100% see it.
Where I'm just like, that's Elizabeth Olsen in a wig, isn't it? But no, she does a really good job selling the robotic nature of the character. Right, I forgot to keep going on the premise. Apparently Megan's designs leaked somehow, and somebody made another one that has gone rogue. And in order to protect Katie, because that's still her directive, Megan, who previously dumped her programming somewhere else and now she's inhabiting their smart home, decides that she wants to work with Gemma to stop Amelia. And Gemma reluctantly and secretly, because she doesn't want to traumatize Katie by revealing that Megan's still alive, agrees. And havoc ensues.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a smart idea.
No, Gemma's awful. I have a note here that... It's early on, admittedly, but I have a note here that just says, fuck Gemma, in all capital letters.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, she doesn't do anything as despicable as while her niece is, still adjusting to losing both of her parents and having to live with this aunt who clearly doesn't want her, passive-aggressively placing her drink on a coaster. I'm not over that. I am not over that. If I live to be 100, I will never get over the fucking coaster scene in Megan. What an absolute not reading the room. Why are you doing this?
That is Cody's equivalent of old black men hate. Old black men who wronged each other like 60 years ago will still remember it and hold it against each other. In Cody's case, he'll turn 80 and still remember it. When she passive-aggressively put down her drink. A
social faux pas the likes of which you will never recover from!
Oh, God.
I mean, let's be honest, the main reason to watch this is for Megan herself, and she's great.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because she's kept all of the sass from the first movie, and now she's just leaning into it. She's constantly scheming. You're not really sure what her end goal is or how sincere she's being and how much of it's her manipulating the situation to her own advantage. Gemma herself suspects that Megan is actually behind Amelia going rogue, and I'm not going to give away whether that's true or not, but I will say that, yeah, really good performance from Megan.
Alrighty.
By which I mean really good performance by Jenna Davis as the voice, and Amy Donald, who is the actual physical performer for Megan.
Physical actress.
Also fun, Jermaine Clement's in this.
Okay.
He's playing a tech billionaire who's trying to get Gemma on board with this cybernetic enhancement neural link thing that he's got, and all I heard was, when he starts talking, I just went, oh fuck, is that Tamatoa from Moana? It is! Sing about being shiny! I mean, I'd say that in the theater, obviously, that'd be rude.
Right.
Oh, also, Gemma has a boyfriend, ?
Oh, that poor bastard.
Yeah, he's also an anti-AI activist.
Oh, they're made for each other.
Yeah, especially because his name is Christian.
Alright.
Yeah, not Christian. It's Christian.
Is it spelled like Christian?
Yes.
It's Christian.
and he is not...
It's Leviosa.
He is not built. He is not muscular enough to get away with that, you know?
Forget built different, he's not even built.
He's not even built. But he does build things. He used to be a cybersecurity expert before he got into the anti-AI activism game.
I'm already guessing that he's one of the antagonists.
Well, that would be telling, and I assume you don't want me to do a spoiler section.
Probably not. I do actually want to see this film.
Yeah, alright, great. So I'll just neuter my own review.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. No, this is a fun time. I'll be honest, it is a little nitpicky of me. The main reason it doesn't go into a very good movie is because there are so many factions in this movie that allegedly have anti-robot, anti-electronic weaponry and defenses that don't actually seem to do anything, and it's not explained why.
Nice.
They have EMP rounds that are supposed to shut things down, they have stun batons that are clearly meant to short out robots, and none of them really seem to work. And there's no clear reason given as to why they don't work, despite presumably being intended to do that.
Okay.
So it makes the ending fight scenes, the entire third act climax, a little bit difficult to actively gauge what's going on or how bad a hit is supposed to be. But, I don't know, it's still a fun time. I would definitely watch this again, which is what keeps it out of one of the most movies of all time. I've decided that's a determining factor. Would I ever watch it again? And if the answer is probably not, then that's where it goes.
Right.
We'll get to that later. Spoiler warning.
Oh, and later, we mean probably within the next few minutes.
But no, I definitely watch Megan 2.0 again. I kinda hope they don't make another one, though.
I mean, I haven't even seen the movie, but it's one of those things where it's like, they can't make a 3.0. There's no way.
No, they could. I just don't see a way where that's actually entertaining.
Okay.
I don't see a way clear to make a third Megan Oh god, what if they do Megan, but there's like a little... but there's another 3 exponent after the 3 in her name, so it's M3 cubed again.
Oh god. Oh, don't get them ideas. Megan Hotfix Edition.
I don't think you could say that.
Did you see the marketing for this fucking movie?
Yeah, alright. Anyways.
If they're creative enough, they'll do fucking anything to get their name out there.
Yeah, I know, but anyways, I'll watch this again. I'd recommend watching this. It's a stupid fun time. I hope this is where it stops, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna make at least one more, I feel like.
And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, on to F1.
On the Formula 1.
You want to take this one?
I'll give it a try. So, oh god, it's gonna be so hard for me to talk about this seriously.
And he's the racing fan, so you can tell we're off to a great
That's
start.
what makes it so hard! I follow this sport religiously. Okay, so, in Formula 1 the movie, we follow the trials and tribulations of Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, a Formula 1. After the killer didn't deliver the bear to his client.
The bears.
The bear. Former Formula 1 prodigy Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, is this nomadic, which to me this is insane, again being a racing fan, race car driver who just goes wherever he's needed. He'll show up anywhere that has an open seat for him to drive. So he's just going about racing, gambling, drinking his years away, stuff like that. And this comes from having a horrific crash in a F1 race in the 90s that was at the heavy air quotes Spanish Grand Prix. Anyway. After winning a major motorsport event, he's approached by... Oh, fuck me, this movie. Goddamn. He's approached by his old buddy Reuven, played by Javier Bardem, to come and race for his race team Apex Grand Prix in Formula One. Apex Grand Prix is a new but still struggling race team that is on a desperate thread to save itself from being shut down and sold, because they need Sonny to help them win a race in the second half of the season. I can't fucking do this.
Yeah, alright. So...
No. Oh yeah, continue the synopsis, but I want to make very clear, the synopsis alone has at least a couple things that I have major problems with.
Yeah, because there's basically, Ruben owns this team, but there's a clause where if in the first, 3 seasons or something, of which they're on their third, they don't win a race, the board can buy him out, and he's already millions of dollars.
Which is fucking stupid, by the way. Sorry.
No, it's fine. He's already hundreds of millions of dollars in the hole, so he's very desperate. So, he brings Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, onto this team, and Sonny immediately starts clashing with Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris, who is this up-and-coming new rookie who is desperately trying to make a name for himself and get signed to a big deal team so he can continue the sport, because I guess the shelf life is limited on window of opportunity to make a name for yourself in this, which makes sense to an extent.
I mean, that part is true about top-level motorsport, it has to be said.
Classic old blood versus the new guard dynamic, with two of the most insufferable protagonists you ever done met. That's an exaggeration, but I really don't care for either of them.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kerry Condon as Kate McKenna, who's too dang good for this movie, playing the technical director with something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You got... There's other people in this movie, I know there are.
I mean, the 3 most notable people in the entirety of this movie, actually 4 most notable, are Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Kerry Condon, and Javier Bardem. In particular, just kind of to deviate real quick, because I don't know if there's going to be an opportunity to talk about him more as we talk about this movie. Javier Bardem steals every fucking scene that he's in.
I'll be 100%.
Yes.
I don't like most of the performances I've seen from Javier Bardem. This was actually great.
No, it's great. The chemistry he has with Brad Pitt in this movie is actually pretty great. We'll get into it in the spoiler section, because cars.
Cars.
There's a whole bit where Javier Bardem is actually genuinely insulting somebody, and then he goes, "No, wait, come back, please, let me hug you." This man is great. I need to see more of his movies if he just is like this all the time.
He's not. He's really not. A lot of times I think he feels pretty wooden in a lot of movies I see him in. He feels kind of one note.
That's really a shame, because he is good at playing that kind of character. I would love to see him do more roles where he's just acting like that kind of person. This overly eccentric, flamboyant, but still mentally grounded individual.
Yeah, maybe I just haven't seen the right movies he's in. And that's the problem. Because, Little Mermaid, didn't much care for him in. I guess he is good in Dune. I gotta give him that. He's good. Right. He's good in Dune, Chapter 2. Part 2? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. He's good in that one.
It doesn't matter.
Lasan Al-Gaib, indeed. But...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what I think the biggest problem with this movie is, and I say this as somebody who is on the very fringe of knowing anything about F1.
Yes.
There are too many people from F1 involved in this movie for it to turn out like this.
So, that kind of plays into my thing with this movie. Because I said it when we left the movie theater, and I'm still on this. I don't know how I feel about this film. I genuinely don't know if I like this movie, because it's one of those things where, did I have a good time with this movie? Yes, I had fun watching it. Was it fucking infuriating to watch? Yes, it absolutely was. Was the production value and the motorsport scenes on point? Yes, they were genuinely amazing. Honestly, this movie has some of the best racing scenes ever in a lot of car movies that I've seen. Is it actually a good movie plot-wise? Not really.
No, the treatment of F1 itself is kind of inexcusable.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was leading into, because part of what creates that confusion for me personally is that, alright, so the thing about this movie, in order to kind of keep it a little bit more on the authentic side, is that the team and everyone that Brad Pitt and Damson Idris find themselves racing for, This team is completely fictional. It's made up for the movie. But for the filming of this movie, they did actually bring a lot of the movie stuff to the actual Formula One races in the 23 and 24 F1 seasons. They actually brought the cars out, had the team dugouts and all that actually at the racetracks for filming. There was one particular instance, I think during the 2023 British Grand Prix, where they actually brought the movie race cars out and had them do the formation lap with the actual drivers. And when the formation lap finished, it's not shown in the movie, of course, but when the formation lap finished, they very quickly brought the cars into the pits and all of the movie stuff was torn down. So they actually went out of their way to go to races and not just film the races, but actually have the team, air quotes, participate in the races. And one of the things with that is that all of the drivers and personnel who were involved in the 2023 F1 season are actually credited in this movie, which is a little bit funny for me because half the drivers who raced in 2023 either aren't on the grid anymore or race for different teams.
That's pretty good. It's also funny because, like I said,
it's pretty nuts.
I don't watch a lot of F1. I've seen a few races here and there, but I recognize names. Like when I heard Gasly, I just went, "Oh, nice! All right, you're still in
Pierre
it, huh?"
Gasly! And for me, that's a big part of this movie, too, because one of the producers on this movie is Lewis Hamilton, 7-time Formula One champion, considered to be the greatest F1 driver that has ever graced the sport. And it's very clear that it wasn't one of those things where they brought him on as a consultant or just as a producer just to have his name on the board and then just went and did the movie themselves. No. The people who make this movie, as someone who follows this sport religiously, or at least borderline religiously, the people who made this movie and put everything together clearly know how the sport works. They understand the traditions, the rule set, what teams can and cannot do for the most part. We'll get into that.
I'm angry.
Oh, I was... It's crazy to me that a movie that's centered on one of my key hobbies pissed me off as much as it did. I was Cody levels angry internally.
It's really funny to me how this racing movie got both of us mad for similar reasons.
But not 100%.
Because I've absorbed enough knowledge of how it works from you where I went, this shouldn't fly at all. What is going on here?
It's pissing you off because it's like, you know enough to be like, this isn't right. It's pissing me off because I know what they're doing within the rules and I recognize that it's a shitty thing to do, even though it's, for all intents and purposes, legal to an extent. How did we branch off? Where did we branch off from this?
I don't know. Ultimately, I had a real hard time figuring out where to put this because I almost wanted to put it in Don't Pay Money to See This, but then I decided I have too much fun getting irritated at it to say that.
Yeah.
And the racing scenes alone are a lot of fun, but all in all, I'll probably never watch it again. Dare I say, I'd probably rewatch Gran Turismo first.
No, oh god. So I feel like where this movie is for me, is that I don't know if I like it, but if I have the opportunity to buy the steelbook for it and it's not horrifically expensive, I would in a heartbeat.
A movie you don't even know if you like, you want to buy the steelbook for. Look, I know I'm throwing stones in a glass house here, but what the fuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have 2016 Suicide Squad on your shelf.
Yeah, but it's not the steelbook.
You have Kraven the Hunter on your shelf.
Do I? I don't think I bought that one yet. And also, if I did, it's not the steelbook.
Yet, he says.
The point of a collection is to have the whole collection. You don't just get to pick and choose.
Yes, you do. That's how you keep your sanity.
What about me makes you think I have sanity? I double featured F1 and Megan 2.0 this weekend. Is that the sign of a sane person? What are you talking about?
Well, it's also a thing of, even with that, this is an extremely high quality motorsports movie. And for me personally, I don't get a lot of those. So that's part of the thing that makes me go, it's too good for me to not have it physically at some point. Actually, one other thing that I really want to kind of shout out about this movie that genuinely makes me happy about it is the fact that they go the extra mile to kind of insert these fictional teams and characters into the world of motorsport, to the point of getting the actual commentators for both the IMSA Sports Car Championship and the Formula One Championship to acknowledge, like, these people. We literally have Lee Diffie, honestly probably one of the best sportscasters on the planet, genuinely one of the best sports callers in motorsport, going on. It's like, and here comes Sonny Hayes in the Porsche. I'm just like, wow, they got Lee Diffie for this shit. I'm also biased in this sense because I've been watching a lot more of the IMSA Sports Car Championship over the last year and a half. For the uninitiated, IMSA is International Motorsports Association. They run the best top-level sports car championships in North America. They are the organizing body for the 24 Hours of Daytona. And actually, another part of that, too, is that for that scene, they didn't just, like, have some cars on the racetrack. They actually hired a privateer Porsche race team to dress up the car to be filmed for the movie, and actually recorded the car racing at the 2023 24 Hours of Daytona for the film.
Huh.
Some of the scenes are, like, done up for the movie. There's a stunt driver, professional and former professional drifter named Samuel Hubinette, and he was one of the stunt drivers on the film, and he showed some behind-the-scenes stuff. But they actually hired Wright Motorsports, who races Porsche sports cars in IMSA, and they hired them to dress up their cars in this team in a fictitious livery, or at least as a fictitious team, and both recorded their own scenes for the film while also recording the car racing for real at the 24 Hours of Daytona. I believe because of that, if I remember right, in the official results for the race, the car is credited as Chip Hart Racing or whatever the team was in the movie. Also, shout out to Turner Motorsport, the people who were running the yellow and blue BMW at the beginning, who end up being the minor antagonists during that first race. Turner Motorsport is apparently a team that they're like BMW's longest standing sports car team in North America. And from what I gather, anytime there's a chance to kind of promote sports car racing in North America, or at least IMSA, Turner Motorsport is usually one of the first teams to be like, yep, we have drivers and we have race cars. What do you need? So that's pretty cool. It's really cool for me to see IMSA represented in a major film like this when it normally isn't. Let's see, is there anything else non-spoilery that I can talk about that I haven't said before in all of this fucking, like, anger and craziness?
I mean, yeah, I can't fault the technical attention to detail, and obviously the racing scenes are a lot of fun. I just kind of wish they'd put that same kind of attention and clear enthusiasm
everywhere else
into the movie parts of it.
Yeah, no, so I don't know. It's weird because compared to Gran Turismo, because that's the most recent other motorsport movie that's come out, it's not as infuriating for me personally, in large part just because I will give the movie credit that even though it's ostensibly fucking stupid what happens, it does do a halfway decent job of getting people involved who don't know anything about motorsport, like, kind of an idea of how F1 goes behind the scenes. To be honest, it's played up for the sake of Hollywood, but a lot of the bits of drama and craziness between people in the movie has happened in Formula One over the years, because this is a sport that is ultimate, at the end of the day, run, driven, and operated by petty, rich assholes.
Like a lot of sports.
Like a lot of sports, but F1 in particular. So a lot of those things, while played up, are definitely not unusual for the sport. The actual plot itself, as far as what happens and everything, is pretty cookie cutter. It has to be said. But yeah, I don't have anything else for them. I'm still trying to figure out if I like this fucking movie.
That's the part that baffles me. Like, any movie that I have the steelbook for is a movie I at least like.
Yeah.
And here you are wanting to go out and get it for a movie that you're not even sure about. That's like me getting a steelbook for The Woman in the Yard.
So this movie is in the categories of go and pay money to see it, for me personally, because I'm a motorsport fan and I want more people to experience racing in any way that I possibly can. But objectively speaking, as a movie, it is in the Ask Me Again Later category.
All right, we both have one of those. Great.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been keeping up with an actual tier list like you have, but this is, I think, so far, the only movie that is squarely in the Ask Me Again Later category for me personally, which is not bad considering we are halfway through the year.
Yeah, no. So I guess if you don't want to get spoiled on F1, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. I hate Sonny Hayes.
Oh, Sonny Hayes is fucking insufferable. I don't think you're supposed to like him in this movie.
No, I think you are, because the ending is treated as big and triumphant where he wins the race, because... Okay, you know what? I'm infuriated that Lewis Hamilton is a producer on this movie, but seeing the ending, I understand. He's a producer on this movie, so he could say, no, I'm not gonna lose a race to 50-something-year-old Brad Pitt. They're gonna have to crash me out.
See, now here's what I was thinking about that final race and how they were going to do it, is that it was going to be a thing of, I don't know. I don't want to jump to that just yet, because there's a lot of fun things that happened before that.
Like the fact that Sonny Hayes keeps gradually inching their way up the rankings by doing the equivalent of getting into the NFL and then moving his way up to the Super Bowl with the equivalent of strategically timed nut shots both at his own team and the enemy team.
Yeah, so the thing about this movie, to kind of lay it on a little bit thick once again, the movie does a lot to emphasize that Sonny Hayes was a potential prodigy that entered the F1 in the early 90s and was running with the likes of Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna. No. Some of the top drivers in the sport at the time. And he kind of came from nowhere, was regarded as being reckless, but still being very fast. But all that comes to an end when he has a horrific crash at Jerez during the 1993 Spanish Grand Prix, which pissed me off because this movie pulled a fucking Gran Turismo. Where it's like, yeah, this is Jerez, and I'm looking at the footage, that's fucking Brands Hatch. This is in a completely different country. That is not Jerez. What the hell? I was disappointed in that because, like, come on, movie, you're actually better than this. At the very least, all the race scenes that were shot other than that happened at the actual racetracks that they portray. It didn't do the whole Gran Turismo thing where it's like, all right, we're in, like, Abu Dhabi, we're in Nürburgring, we're in Le Mans, and I'm just looking as like, this is just the Hungaroring. You guys have stressed up the Hungaroring in Hungary with different decorations and lighting and make people go, oh yeah, no, it's we're in France now. I'm glad it didn't do that. But yeah, there's so much fun stuff in this movie. First and foremost, someone who drove F1 cars in the 90s, because Brad Pitt is 61 in real life. Someone who drove F1 cars in the 90s and hasn't driven an F1 car since then, there is absolutely no way in hell that they are going to jump into a modern Formula One car that behaves completely differently from the cars in the 90s and not only come to grips with it after a lap and a half, but even with a crash at the very end of their test lap, get within 0.5 of a second of the guy that has presumably been driving this car for several races now. Also, this is a more minor one, but it's one that bothers me immensely as someone who plans their entire year around what motorsports are happening. We have Brad Pitt taking part in the Daytona 24 Hours as a temporary higher paid driver for this race team. And then after the race, he gets confronted with this offer to join the Apex F1 team because they need to win a race within the last 9 races of the season, which would be fine, except for the fact that the 24 Hours of Daytona happens in mid-January, and the British Grand Prix happens in July. So we're in this weirdo, bizarro world where F1 starts in the last half of the previous year. Which, no, that's kind of frustrating, but hey, what can you do? I think you and I both found it funny. We did get a Waffle House therapy session in a movie that has too much money to have that kind of thing.
Yeah, because when Ruben first comes to Sonny with the offer, Sonny ends up asking the server at this diner or whatever that they were getting food at, let me ask you something. If an old friend of yours rolled up with an offer that sounded too good to be true, what would you do? How much we talking? It's not about the money. What's it about? And that apparently convinced him to go fly out and try out.
To England.
It's like, yes, good old Waffle House therapy. That's where I have all my great epiphanies.
Yeah, it's like, that Waffle House waitress convinced me to get into this $100 million race car and see what happens.
That I've been out of the game for 30 fucking years.
Yeah, to drive a car where the steering wheel is really worth more than what my car was when it was brand new.
And he goes on, and his whole strategy is just devoted to causing as much minor nonsense as possible, basically making up for their lack of a good car and the driver's inexperiences and his being in his 50s.
Yeah.
He straight up says Plan C is for chaos, and I have here a note that says, no, Plan C is for fucking circus, because that's what you're turning this thing into!
So, here's the thing about that. So what causes this is that they're at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Sonny Hayes develops this wonderful strategy to get Joshua Pierce into the points for the first time in his career. And that is to cause multiple safety cars. And he does that by basically purposely getting himself mixed up with other drivers and having them damage his car and put parts on the racetrack. So the thing about safety car periods within Formula One is that there's two safety car types. There's a virtual safety car and the physical safety car. The physical safety car is deployed in situations where there is actually a major physical hazard on the racetrack that needs to be cleared up. And things like shards of carbon fiber from other race cars usually qualifies for that, because the fear is that cars will hit it at hundreds of miles an hour and not only cause several smaller bits of shrapnel to go everywhere, but also potentially blow their tires and cause a major crash. Every time a physical safety car is deployed, the field is completely neutralized and brought back together. So if you're in first and you have a 15-second lead gap to the second place driver,
not anymore.
And the safety car comes out, yeah, that gap gets completely neutralized and brought back. And Sonny Hayes does this 3 times over the course of the race. And not only that, the team itself is openly talking about what he's doing on the radio. And the FIA, the governing body who orchestrates the rules in Formula One, is always listening to teams' radios. It's actually a stated rule in F1 that all radio transmissions must be in English, because the FIA is listening in on all the radios to make sure that no one is breaking the rules. I realized immediately what was going on when I was just like, what does he do? Oh, don't you dare. It was like, they're going to call a safety car. It's like, and we're deploying a safety car. And I got furious, because shit like that would have gotten the entire team ejected from the race if they pulled that. Especially if they pulled that 3 times in a race, because that's just shit behavior that puts everyone else on the track at risk.
No, but it's fine because Sonny knows exactly what he's doing, guys. He's perfectly under control. Except for that one time where he doesn't have his deck of cards and he fucking...
That's road rage.
Vegas, baby!
Which, by the way, that is a real race. Which, oh god, the fact that there's a Formula One race in Las Vegas, unironically, is still crazy to me. But yeah, they do that, and that somehow doesn't get them banned from the sport, even though it should. That was the moment where, because you were going, I fucking hate this movie and I hate Sonny Hayes. I'm just like, I mean, he's kind of a dick, but it's not that bad. And then that happened, I'm just like...
No, just when he shows up for the fucking test lap, and he wrecks the fucking car at the end, and just swaggers away going, it's a start. It's like, what the fuck? You just showed up after 30 years of being out of the game, wrecked the car, and you think you're in, huh? And then he is!
Yeah, and
then he is!
Which is crazy to me, especially this is right after the team saying, like, hey, we actually have no money. We unironically have no money, and we can barely put together a competent workflow.
And then, despite my hatred for Sonny Hayes, my contempt, which is getting more exaggerated the more time I have to think about it, the movie has the unmitigated gall to make me actually have to defend him at one point, that being when Pierce starts trying to emulate him, because he finally figures out that, oh yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing, which no, he fucking doesn't, but alright, movie. So, There's a point where, in one race in the rain, he stays out on tires that aren't equipped for it, instead of pitting to get new tires, and he's in a stone's throw of passing Max Verstappen and taking first place, God, I love that.
Sorry.
No, it's funny.
Every time I think about that, especially, again, as a fan of the sport, I'm just like, no, that's not how that works.
No. So, Sonny's telling him, wait until after the turn, doesn't listen, tries to do the thing, crashes out, and now all of a sudden, Pierce's mom is chewing Sonny out about it. It's clear Sonny feels bad about it. There's an implicit undercurrent of this is your fault. Fuck you, no it isn't. He told him don't do it, he went and did it anyway. Oh, now you choose not to listen to him.
So what's unfortunate about that whole thing is that that's based on 3 different pieces of open wheel and Formula One things. Because the first part is that his whole thing of saying, don't go for the pass here, wait until the turn, does actually make sense. Because on a wet racetrack, the more a car... You've seen it when you drive around, too, especially on a busy road. The more a car stays on one particular part of the track, even if the track itself is wet, it does dry off over time, and that becomes the dry line, which is faster. That's the thing that drivers play the gamble on as far as staying out on slicks, even when it's raining. So the whole thing of telling him was like, no, stay here before you hit the corner, does make sense, because the rest of the track is wet. So it's like, you're on slicks, you're gonna hydroplane, which of course Pierce does. Hydroplanes, hits the infamous sausage curb, which that's actually what they're called, and fuck sausage curbs, and that causes a crash that is very reminiscent of a actual crash that happened at that corner several years ago, because they're basically curbs that are like more elevated than regular curbs that are supposed to stop drivers from going too deep off the course. I think it was something that was put in for MotoGP races. But nobody likes these. Nobody who does racing in any capacity likes these fucking things for that very reason. And racetracks just refuse to get rid of them. So that's what that crash is directly referencing. But then the whole thing about how Pierce's mom getting mad at Sonny for that pissed me off, because it's like, no, we saw him on live TV going for his fire extinguisher to fight the fire, and actually pulling your son out of the crash. He literally saved your son's life. What the actual hell?
Okay, I feel like the worst part about that whole thing is that after that, Pierce is in their big, fancy, advanced simulator thing that can apparently perfectly recreate the conditions of that race. I don't fucking know how. It'd take a scientist to explain it, and I'm just a humanities. But
they can, by the way.
They can? What the fuck?
The simulators that full-on race teams and F1 teams have, some of them are genuinely state-of-the-art.
Can they get me the lottery numbers?
No.
Fuck! Anyways.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyways, then he's running it over and over again, trying to take Verstappen on the turn, and then he finally tries it Sonny's way, and it turns out, oh yeah, he would have actually done it. No fucking shit?
Yeah, because it's the whole thing of, you would have stayed on the dry line, you would have made it through the turn, you would have had the draft on Verstappen, you would have been able to slingshot past him for the win. If you didn't fuck up.
No fucking shit, Sherlock. Anyways, that's the one time Sonny Hayes had my defense.
For me, it was the whole bit of when Pierce came back from being on the sidelines for the Belgian Grand Prix, and Sonny just lays it down into him. It's just like, look, I don't give a fuck if you hate me, and if you don't give a shit about me, but you better give a shit about the people who have invested in you. That was a bit where it's just like, yeah, he's kind of being a little bit of a bitch right now, so I think that's a fair statement to give him.
He's right there, but Sonny's not the person to be given that speech.
Yeah.
Also, I hate his relationship with Kate.
Their relationship is very funny to me personally, but I also think I kind of forgive it in a little bit just because I find the actress very attractive.
Yeah, she could do better.
Yeah, she could 100% do better. It is just the whole thing of how during the entirety of this movie, there's just, I guess you could say, light flirtation, I guess. The most ridiculous sexual tension you can think of. And then there's a whole bit later on in the movie where, because of how much Pierce and Hayes are coming head-to-head against one another, a poker game is orchestrated between the two of them and Kate. It's basically thinking of whoever wins gets preferential treatment in the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So they have a whole thing of having this poker game while also having moments to talk about what pisses them off about one another and how to deal with their issues. Which does lead to a moment where Brad Pitt, in frustration, just goes, "You're a good driver. You know how to drive this car, and you're good at it, so you need to stop doing this shit."
You might even be great.
That leads to Pierce winning the poker game and being promised a preferential treatment for the race itself.
With a pair of fives.
And then Kate just playfully calls out Hayes, just like, "Well, I guess you weren't all that." Only for Hayes to reveal that he did have a winning hand and let Pierce win just so that he would get the one up on him, which leads to a little bit of a stare down. And Kate just going, like, "Okay, now hold on. I believe in professionalism." I'm just like, oh, no.
No, the worst part, I'm pretty sure she did the "I'm attracted to winning" before he revealed he actually had the hand, which, clumsy fucking timing.
Yeah, just like, oh, you poor woman. You played yourself
so
hard.
The actual good part is that there's some crisis where somebody put in a fake report that their car is using unauthorized parts or something of the such, and Ruben comes looking for them, and he knocks on the hotel room door, and Kate opens it, and he just goes, "Where's Sonny?" And she goes, "First of all, how dare you? Second of all, I respect professional boundaries. Third, yeah, he's on the balcony." That was pretty funny. It's infuriating, but it's pretty funny.
And during this whole time, Ruben does have a look on his face that just goes, "Bitch, please."
Yep, tell me more.
Yeah.
No, I just find the whole relationship subplot is just... The good part about it is that it doesn't last, and at the end he just moseys on to go race in, what was it, the Baja 3000 or something?
The Baja 1000, yeah.
Baja 1000, thank you.
Yeah. It really is a thing with the whole relationship thing, too. It's one of those dumb things that we both should not find funny, but because we're the fucking worst, we do. There's the scene of them starting to make out. Hitting a wall really aggressively, by the way, is perfectly timed with the drop of a drum in a song. and we're just like, oh, give us a break.
Friday, you're better than this.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, so one of the whole things with the team that Sonny immediately figures out is that the car is incapable of fighting in dirty air, which... For the uninitiated, dirty air is the small wake of air that's created directly behind a car. So when you're driving behind a car, there's the draft, which extends a good bit behind the car, but there's also the turbulence immediately behind the car, and that turbulence does fuck with another car's ability to follow through corners and keep its speed up and all that. So they have a whole thing of, they're faster than us here, we need to make our car faster in corners. We need to build our car for combat. Which I fucking hate, by the way.
I hate listening to this, man.
But they're like, yeah, we need to build our car for combat. And these upgrades help the car deal with the dirty air and fight more aggressively positions and wins. Or, well, for positions and points, rather. And because of this whole fake documents thing, those upgrades are taken away and the car is basically nowhere. Which leads to Sonny having road rage at hundreds of miles an hour and getting into a major wreck at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Which reveals the whole thing to Ruben of, oh, hey, by the way, that crash I had in 93 at not Brands Hatch, yeah, they literally put nails and wood in my back.
Which, the fact that that's a revelation and Ruben's like, you shouldn't have been allowed back in at all. What's going on? I just lost it, because it's just like, what do you fucking mean? Did they not do physicals beforehand? Did nobody check him out? Did they not look at his medical history? What are you fucking talking about? How was he allowed in? What do you fucking mean?
Yes, there are physicals, by the way. There are absolutely physicals for this sport. There has to be, because these cars almost produce the same amount of G's and turns as like a fighter pilot experiences on takeoff. So there are physical checkups, and when that whole bit comes up, internally when he says, you shouldn't have been allowed back in, it's like, you didn't check for that? You didn't know about this? You saw his crash. You were teammates with him.
And then he's just allowed to mosey back in with a fucking liability waiver. It's like, are you telling me that the governing body, the FIA, they're not gonna fucking say no to this? After the crash he just had?
Yeah, no, that was completely ridiculous.
That is why I cannot say I like this movie, because of shit like this.
Well, that part's funny to me just because considering it's the FIA has horrific moments of extreme incompetence. So there is a part of my brain that goes, I could see the FIA approving this to save face for themselves. Because they've done some stupid shit over the years.
I don't know, man. That seems...
Oh, no, the FIA is, like, horrifically incompetent very frequently.
Alright.
It has to be said. No, it's not alright. It's very far from alright.
And neither is Sonny Hayes, geriatric that he is.
Oh, there is, actually, kind of going back to the whole Hungary race safety car thing. There was a controversy in 2009 called Crashgate, where the team that Fernando Alonso was racing for, apparently he didn't know if this was happening, but his team ordered his teammate to purposely crash their car in the middle of a race to bring out a safety car and give Fernando Alonso a win. Well, people found out about that. Alonso very quickly separated himself from the team and all of that to escape punishment for what happened. The driver who dabs up Sonny Hayes in the press conference after the whole craziness of the Hungary race where he causes 3 safety cars, that's Fernando Alonso, by the way. So, that was extremely funny.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. But yeah, he gets a liability waiver, and he's allowed for some strange reason to enter the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is a shit show. It's also a pretty shitty racetrack in my personal opinion, but it's a shit show of a race. Just craziness happening all around, all kinds of fun stuff. Very reminiscent of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which I really don't feel like talking about because I get mad every time I think of that race. It's a whole thing. I'll explain it to you outside of the podcast at some point. But anyone who follows F1, especially if they followed the championship battle between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton during that year, knows what I'm talking about. So they get into this race. Chaos ensues. There's a wreck happens that causes a red flag period where the teams can work on the cars and stuff like that. Oh, no, actually what causes it is that Sonny Hayes gets in contact with George Russell at Mercedes, and that causes Sonny's car to wreck and somehow get back to the pits under its own power, which is genuinely amazing. But with that, there's a safety car period. They red flag the race. The team can come in to fix the car. And they actually invoke a rule that I wasn't expecting this movie to do, which is the tire rule, which over the course of a race weekend, each team has a certain amount of tires that they have access to. And they only have those tires for the entirety of the race weekend. Now, one of the nice things about that, per se, for slower teams is that the way qualifying works before the race, it's in a knockout format. So if you get knocked out early in the qualifying, you still get to save a lot of your tires for the race itself. So there's this whole thing about how even though they're kind of on the back foot, they have tires that have never been used before that gives them an advantage. What leads to a very funny exchange of, so because we sucked ass in qualifying, we have good tires now.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. But then that leads to our whole thing of the final showdown between Apex Grand Prix and Lewis Hamilton.
I'm telling you, I feel like this is why Hamilton let all this stuff slide, because he was like, fine, this can all go, but you have to bend over backwards, suck my dick, and say, I'm the best, and you'll never beat me in a straight-up fair race. You gotta take me out.
So what I was expecting, because they're setting up this whole thing of both Sonny and Joshua are battling Hamilton for the win. Lewis Hamilton is known for being a very fierce and aggressive driver when everything's on point for him. But it's the whole thing of he can only defend against one person at a time. Now, what I'm thinking is going to happen, personally, is that Sonny is going to juke out Hamilton to force him to block Sonny, and that's going to let Joshua get into the lead and win the race, and they're going to finish first and third. That is not what happens. That is not what happens at all.
Yeah, instead what happens is Joshua ends up causing a collision with Hamilton that takes them both out, letting Sonny take the win. And I gotta say, in the wake of gestures vaguely behind me, everything.
Yes.
I'm not sure how I feel about this movie having yeah guys, let the boomers have this one.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that. Just because, A, it's the whole thing of, like, I'm already have issues with this 16-something-year-old dude who hasn't driven an F1 car in over 30 years, coming in this unfamiliar backmarker race car and winning a race out of just sheer bullshit.
Turning the whole thing into a fucking debacle.
Yeah, but it's especially bad in the sense of, it's very clear that a big part of this movie, arguably the whole movie, is a story of Joshua as a rookie driver gaining maturity in the sport. Because it's very clear that Joshua and his character is supposed to be a parallel of Lewis Hamilton in his early years in the sport. A lot of the stupid shit that Joshua gets up to and everything else is mirroring some of the stuff that Lewis Hamilton said and did during his first 7-ish years in Formula One. Basically right before he left McLaren to race for the Mercedes race team. And Lewis Hamilton, to his credit, has always been kind of open about his behavior in those early years and how he was being basically a spoiled little shit. So that was kind of neat to see, but it was still one of those deals where it's like, yeah, but this would have hit a lot better if Joshua had won. That would have been a much more satisfying result, honestly.
Yeah, but hey, you don't get Brad Pitt to have him not win a race, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah, what's funny for me personally is that after seeing this movie, I've been getting all of the Formula One movie adjacent advertisements that I wasn't getting leading up to this movie, which is kind of funny, because they've been doing ads with like Heineken, with KFC, with a few other companies that have been like bankrolling this movie, and I'm just sitting here like, why am I getting these advertisements after I went to see the movie? I don't drink Heineken. I've never had Heineken. I haven't been to KFC in years. I don't do cryptocurrency.
Of course not. You're a sane human being.
Yeah, sure. Why am I getting these ads now? That's kind of weird.
So yeah, I mean, my problems with F1 are mostly problems with it as a movie, but since it is a movie, they're kind of fucking damning. I had a good time, but I feel like I primarily had a good time because I saw it with you. On my own, I probably would have been even more pissed off.
I feel like if you saw this on your own, you probably would have walked out at a certain point.
I might have, especially because I checked at one point that felt like it was getting towards the climactic end, and then I went, oh, there's still a fucking hour left in this movie. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no. There's too many good elements and too many good performances in here for me to say don't pay money to see this. I certainly wouldn't recommend getting a full price ticket for it, and I certainly wouldn't call it a repeat watch.
We should put this on the list for movie night.
No. I mean, you can. You can. I will do my damnedest to get away from it, though.
Oh, that's no fun.
Maybe. I don't know. Certainly not anytime soon.
That's fair.
We'd have to circle through everything else on the list first.
Even though the shitty Japanese like highway street racing movie I recommended would have to be.
You took that one off. You replaced that with Tokyo Drift.
That's true. So the reason why I took that off is because I realized that there are either 6 or 7 of these movies, and I've only watched one of them. So I feel like I need to watch all of them just to see which one is the most riffable.
All right, that's fair. You got anything else?
No.
All right.
Other than, even though I just talked out all my thoughts and laid everything out to bear, I still can't decide how I feel about this movie.
And he's a fan of the sport, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks so much for listening, everybody. You know what to do. Tip your servers, pay your writers, all that good stuff. Next week, it's Jurassic World. It's pretty much Jurassic World, but you know, I've never been rooting for dinosaurs so hard in my life, so that F1 gets knocked out of the top spot.
Yeah, and no, we're not talking about the ones who run our country. Sorry.
No, that's a good one. That's well done. Happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Almost.
This is coming out the week of Independence Day, isn't it?
It is. Anyways, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week. I can't wait for Superman.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.